and we can see it from the top of the mountain all the way to the end of the lagoon. Now, it is a very small part of what is called Vatnajökull. Vatnajökull is the largest glacier in Iceland. It covers approximately 8% of the country, and it started forming around 3,000 years ago. Completely different story for the Glacial Lagoon. The Glacial Lagoon is less than 100 years old. It did not exist up until the 1930s. All of this area that you see now covered by water, all the way down to the beach, was still covered by ice until 1933. All of this was still part of the glacier, as the glacier was much bigger. And of course, in the last 100 years, as it started to get warmer and the glacier started to melt and retreat, the lagoon was formed, and now it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger every year. So as it stands today, from this bridge right here to the edge of the glacier there, the lagoon has now a total length between 9 and 10 kilometers, around 6 miles. And only 25 years ago, that was just half. So in the last 25 years, the lagoon doubled in size, which should tell you just how quickly the glacier is melting. Now, all the icebergs we see here inside the lagoon are coming from that area over there. You can see a really big ice wall at the end of the lagoon. It is one of the outlets of the glacier, the one that ends up here on the water. And as it moves forward a little bit every day, these icebergs end up breaking off the edge into the lagoon and then slowly travel towards the ocean. Now, once the icebergs are inside the water, they only last on average between 4 and 6 weeks, maybe up to 3 months for the bigger ones, but especially now in the summer, they melt away very quickly, and there's always new ones coming, so the lagoon is always changing. Now, I'm sure you've noticed as well different icebergs, different colors, blue, white, black. We have a few different ones, and we have a small piece of ice right here, and that is to show you that the ice is not blue. It does not have any specific color. Just like water, you can see through it. It is transparent. Now, why does that happen? When you have a small amount of ice or a small amount of water, light travels through it so we can see that it is clear. But when you have a large amount of water, a big body of water, river, ocean, lake, or when you have a big iceberg, then light is absorbed and reflected back. Now, there's only a limited spectrum of colors that the human eye can see. And these colors, they have different wavelengths. So the colors that we see, all the other colors, travel deeper inside the ice and are indeed absorbed. The color with a shorter wavelength is the color blue. So that is the color that is reflected and that we see with our eyes. Now, important, the clearer the ice, the bluer the reflection is going to be. So if back there you saw some icebergs that are bluer than others, that is because in the last few days, the last few hours, these icebergs have been breaking and flipping around, okay? Now, only roughly 10% of the iceberg is visible above the water. That's called the tip of the iceberg. Most of it is below. So these are all much, much bigger than what we can see. Now, it is very sunny. It is very warm. These are melting quickly. They are breaking, like I said, they're flipping around. And in that case, we get to see the part of the ice that is below the surface, the one that is hiding and is still kind of protected from the sun. So that ice is still very clear, which makes it reflect this very intense blue color. Over time, especially if it is sunny, all these icebergs become wider and wider. The longer the iceberg is sitting in the same position above the surface, the wider it becomes, especially when it's sunny. When the sun hits, then the ice starts to crack. Then it opens up, and then it gets filled with oxygen, little air bubbles that cover the ice and give it this very white, snowy appearance. So when they break, like I said, very blue. Over time, they all become white. And the black on the icebergs, those are layers of volcanic ash. There are a lot of volcanoes in Iceland, as everybody knows. Some of them are located under and around the glacier. They are now dormant, but when they were active a long time ago and they erupted, parts of the glacier were covered in this ash, and that ash eventually got stuck to the ice. It became part of the glacier, and more snow, more ice, another eruption. So sometimes we see different layers from different volcanic eruptions along the years, as far as 300, 400, 500 years ago. Now, in terms of the water here in the lagoon, the temperature in summer varies between 2 and 10 degrees Celsius. Today, around 5 degrees. It is, I would say, a regular day, kind of a warmer day. In the winter, the water is colder. It is freezing cold, but the lagoon will not freeze solid. That's because this is not a freshwater lake. Yes, there is a lot of fresh water coming from the glacier, but there is even more salt water coming from the ocean. Every 6 hours, high tide, low tide, and that keeps it moving, that keeps it warmer. And that's exactly why the lagoon will not freeze over in the winter. In terms of depth, deepest point in all of Iceland here in the lagoon, over at the end, close to the glacier, nearly 300 meters, close to 1,000 feet deep at its deepest point. And all of this created by the weight of the ice that was once there. Like I said, all of this was ice, and that's what kind of carved the lagoon as it is today. In terms of animal life, as we saw back there are some seals here in the lagoon. The seals are also coming from the ocean there through that channel under the bridge. And the seals come to the lagoon looking for two things. One is food. There's a lot of fish in the water. And the second one is shelter. There is nothing else in the water. So the sharks and the whales that chase them, the bigger predators out in the ocean, do not come into the lagoon because the channel there is too shallow for them. Okay? Now, once again, we have a little iceberg right here. We have our own piece of the glacier. As I told you, the glacier over there. So this piece traveled not very far, but very long. This ice right here is around 1,000 years old. It takes a lot of snow to have a little bit of ice, so the whole process is very long, very slow, starting at the top and ending up here. And this one, as you can see, also has some volcanic ash inside of it. I am going to pass it around. If you want to hold it, you can. You can take pictures with it. You can see it up close. And we're going to carry on with the tour. If you have any questions, just let me know. All right, who wants to hold the ice first? You, step forward.
Can I hold it with you and flip it over?
You can, but you can stand on the bench. I'll go down with you. You need to go down, okay?
Sounds good.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Let's take a picture.
I want you in my picture. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You want to come in?
Yes, sure.